Hey everyone, Facecam Jonathan here. So about 2 years ago, Adult Swim and the legend himself, Casper Kelly, quietly premiered an original film titled Yule Log. What started as just 2 minutes of a burning log quickly transformed into this psychological horror thriller packed with twists, turns, aliens, murder, flashbacks, and pure chaos. Considering the shakeup at Warner Bros. Discovery at the time, with the constant layoffs and cancellations, and just the general turmoil, the making and premiere of Yule Log is a goddamn miracle in my books. Now personally, I am a massive fan of the first Yule Log film, and I am so glad that it was made and aired. I just love weird, experimental, absurd movies, and Yule Log absolutely nailed it. But during the first film's advertising, Adult Swim labeled Yule Log as their first annual Yule Log, implying that they weren't stopping there. So naturally, many of us speculated when we'd get a second Yule Log film. And shortly after the release of the first Yule Log, Casper Kelly mentioned in an interview that he was already planning another film, although he didn't exactly specify if it was a sequel or just another project altogether. But now we know exactly what he was working on, a sequel to what is arguably one of Adult Swim's greatest projects to date. Yule Log 2 Branchin Out premiered on December 6th, delivering an hour and a half of horror and also Hallmark-inspired insanity. And today, I want to briefly dive into the film and just share my overall thoughts and opinions with you guys. Now, fair warning to you guys, we're going to be diving into spoilers. So if you want to watch the film first, it is available on Max and also on Adult Swim's website. But if you've already seen it or you're one of those people that just doesn't give a crap about spoilers, then stick around because there's plenty to unpack. I have a lot to say about this film. But before we begin, let's dive into what Adult Swim president Mike O'Wheeling and Casper Kelly had to say about this film. So when Yule Log 2 was first announced, Adult Swim president Michael Wheeling stated the following: "We're giving the gift that no one thought to ask for again, and we lost the receipt, so you can't trade it in. You're welcome, and happy holidays from Adult Swim to you." Yeah, well, joke's on you, Michael. I wanted a sequel, so thank you. Casper Kelly then shared his excitement, stating that he was thrilled to bring this second genre-defying installment in the Adult Swim cinematic Yuleverse to fans. With luck and strong viewership and support, he hopes to fulfill his vision of 31 interconnected Yule Log films, including Adult Swim Yule Log Next of Kindling and Adult Swim Yule Log Revenge of the Three French Hen Ninjas. And these ideas would apparently put the network squarely in the forefront of the movie franchise space where it belongs. Now obviously Casper Kelly is joking around in this interview, but just imagine if he made 29 more films and used those titles. I mean, Next of Kindling would be an amazing title for Yule Log 3. Personally speaking, I would watch all 31 films and buy a Blu-ray bundle with every single film for $500 United States dollars. But we're not quite there yet. We still need to talk about the second film. So what exactly happens in Branching Out? I mean, are there returning characters? New ones? Does it connect to Yule Log 1, if at all?
And what exactly does this film want with my family?
Well, here's a brief summary. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm pacing back and forth, number one, it's because I have a standing desk and I'm just standing to record because it feels better on my lungs and my body. And number two, I have this ring light and it's just hitting me in the face with more energy than the fucking sun. And so I'm just constantly moving my eyes back and forth so I don't go blind. And so I don't contract some kind of disease. Wait, what kind of disease would I even contract from a ring light? It doesn't matter. So after the events of the first film, Zoe, who survived the last encounter with the log, struggles with PTSD. The loss of her partner Alex, the loss of her job saving coral reefs, all while being haunted by the memories of the alien, the little man in the fireplace, and also the horrifying memories of the murderous Yule Log. Well, as it turns out, the log is back, escaping a police department's evidence storage, blowing up the place, and beginning another spree of murder and destruction. Meanwhile, Zoe finds herself pulled into this very weird world that blends the concepts of horror and also Hallmark Christmas movie tropes. If you guys have ever seen Hallmark Christmas movies, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You should be familiar with how cheesy and ridiculous they can be. Big city girl goes into a small town during the holidays, accidentally runs into a hunk of a man. And then there's some drama involving another person or a bigger corporation trying to buy out the hunk of a man's. small business, but ultimately the two fall in love, while the corporation or antagonist loses and maybe learns some kind of valuable lesson, and there's a happy ending with at least one romantic kiss. That's basically how every Hallmark Christmas movie goes. Well, in the small town of Mistletoe, where clumsy hunks bump into people and those Hallmark cliches and tropes thrive more than bacteria inside of an airport bathroom, Zoe navigates a new potential romance with a grieving single dad named Bert, which is short for birthday card. Yeah, I love this movie so much. Anyways, Bert owns an ornament shop along with Nana and his son Jackson, all while Zoe also clashes with a pompous streamer named Beauregard, who runs a rival ornament store, threatening to put Bert and his family out of business, and witnesses the community unravel as the murderous Yule Log infiltrates their town, festivities, and even people to an extent. And so it's basically up to Zoe, Bert, and her new friends to destroy the Yule Log once and for all. Now, there are loads of other characters and side plots throughout the film, but this is essentially the gist of the plot. Now, I already hold Yule Log 1 in high regard. Like, it's a fantastic movie, 100 out of 10. So when Casper Kelly announced he was working on a sequel, I honestly didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure how he was going to continue the storyline, but somehow he found a way. And a way that doesn't exactly piss me off. Despite how Zoe survived. You're telling me she just ducked under the steering wheel and lived while Alex got blasted to bits by the log? That pisses me off, but besides that, of course, Yule Log 2 Branchin Out is miles better than the first film. Sequels, especially horror sequels, kinda suck. Most of them suck. But sweet baby Jesus, Casper Kelly took Yule Log and elevated it to the max. This is by far the best sequel I have seen in years. I love how the story continues from the first film with Zoe, introduces new characters, and still finds interesting ways to bring back some of the old ones. Like Holly, for example, who we now know met up with Santa Claus of all people from the time of her disappearance in the first film, and teamed up with him to kill the log before fleeing to Asia. This whole entire scene, by the way, is just really fucking weird, but I love it. Except, of course, the log didn't die in that moment. There's also the return of Alex, who is 100% dead, by the way, okay? He just sort of appears in this dreamlike sequence that pretty much resembles the fireplace scenes with the little man from the first film, except it features Nana inside of a freezer, along with Alex, who is boxing with Bert's deceased wife, Savannah, gearing up to fight the log in the final showdown. And before you try and figure out exactly what that means, I'm gonna basically spoil the entire ending for you guys. After Nana transforms into the log monster, or Nana monster if you will, and is right about to kill Zoe, Bert, and his son Jackson in the closet of the house, Zoe figures out what little Nana in the freezer was trying to tell her. She basically wanted to tell Zoe that hate is vanquished with love's remains. So Zoe and Bert take the ashes of Alex and Bert's wife Savannah and throw them on top of the log monster, finally killing it. And I think this was also supposed to be symbolic, allowing Zoe and Bert to finally move on from their deceased partners and look forward to the future. At least that's how I interpreted it. Anyways, the only piece of the Yule Log left is a little tiny baby twig, and the monster appears dead. Until Jackson, the little shit that he is, decides to put a piece of shrimp fudge onto the twig, which somehow brings it to life or resurrects it or whatever. And he does this believing the log is Nana and that she's some kind of superhero. Damn, if we get a third Yule Log movie, I'm sure this little twig will sprout into something even worse. By the way, shrimp fudge is this dish that Bert's deceased wife, Savannah, creates, originally intending to sell it in the ornament shop, but then she died and then the recipe got lost until Zoe finds it. And it somehow has resurrecting properties that work as it brings back to life a piece of coral that Jackson gives Zoe, and also the twig. I figured that one out. It's kind of weird, but also really unique, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, can shrimp fudge bring back the dead? Because if so, maybe there's a chance to bring back my mother. We love a little bit of dark humor here, don't we? No, but seriously, this looks disgusting. I don't know how these people ate that. Also, at the end of the film, after the happy Hallmark-style conclusion, with the ornament shop being saved and Zoe and Bert kissing, etc., what really took the jam out of my donut, if you will, was when the little man in the fireplace, by the way, he's not little anymore, he's a normal-sized man, as well as the alien from the first movie, show up and just run right towards the ornament shop right before it cuts to credits. Now, at first I was like, holy shit, what? They're gonna kill them? No! Whoa, yeah, baby, or whatever. But considering the random vignettes from the first film that didn't really play a role in this one, I'm kind of assuming the ending was just a way to mess with the audience. But then again, maybe there is a deeper underlying meaning here, but I guess we'll see what happens, you know, if Casper decides to make a third movie, which, by the way, he has mentioned being open to the idea. Personally, I would be thrilled if he made another one. Casper, if you're watching this, I doubt you are, but if you are a damn genius. Like, I love these films. I love everything you have created for Adult Swim. Please make at least one more. Cap it off at a trilogy. If you want to continue making up to the 31 films or whatever, that's totally okay too. I'll watch them all, but definitely make another one. And,
maybe give me a role.
I'm just kidding. No, but still, make more. I love these. They're so good. Another moment I really loved from the film was the whole body horror of Nana transforming into the log monster at Christmas Eve dinner. I mean, that was just nuts to butts. I've talked about this style of horror in my regular show Scariest Episode video, go check that out if you haven't already, but body horror is one of my favorite genres of horror, and also one of my worst fears. You know, slasher films don't really scare me as much as seeing people and their bodies mutilated and turned into something inhuman, which is why I love sick and disgusting movies like Tusk and The Human Centipede. Like, they're scary, but stupid, and also fascinating. Yeah, I know, I'm weird, okay, but anyways, the transformation scene in Yule Log 2 is insane, and I love it. I also appreciated how the film ended on a happier note. You know, if we're not counting the little man in the fireplace and the alien heading towards the ornament shop to kill everyone. The first movie ended like every other low-budget sci-fi channel film ever. And I mean, I liked the first film's ending. I didn't have too much to complain about there. But this ending left the door open for more, while also giving everyone, or at least me, a satisfying conclusion. Like, I was okay with this. I also like how this film opened with police reviewing Alex's recording from Yule Log 1. That was a very nice touch. At first, I was watching the film and I was like, wait a minute, did they are they screwing with us? Is Adult Swim screwing with us here? Did they accidentally play the first Yule Log film instead of the second one? Or was there never a second one and they were just screwing with us? But no, and it was a really nice touch. And I was also worried that the film might follow like the Human Centipede approach, where the first two films are just movies within the story, inspiring someone to recreate them. But thankfully, Yule Log 1 remains very real in the universe, which is great. And speaking of the first film, this movie felt more consistent than the first. While the original film transitioned from a one-shot style to a more traditional style like halfway through, this one sticks to a consistent style throughout the whole thing. And though I appreciated the creativity of the one-shot format in the first film, I think it would have been better if it fully committed to one style or the other. Like I believe I stated in my Yule Log breakdown video from 2 years ago, that I kind of wish it stuck with just one shot throughout the whole film, but at the same time, I kind of understand that they're very limited in what they can do with one shot. The pacing of Branchin Out was overall much better in my opinion too. The ending felt a little bit rushed because of like the explanations about the shop being saved and Zoe's return and Zoe getting her job back, etc. Like there's a lot that happens in the last 5 minutes of the film. But then again, that's kind of usually how Hallmark movies end. It's just like a very unreal happy ending where everything is way too perfect. And then it cuts to these guys. The absurdity of Yule Log 1 carries over into this film too, so don't worry about that. I mean, Jesus, there's Santa Claus and Holly working together, and Nana transforming into the log monster, and the log creating more logs and killing hundreds of people, and shrimp fudge, which is disgusting but also kind of cool, and Zoe overcoming her PTSD with Bert's sci-fi contraption, whatever the this is. Like, it's all so insane but really entertaining. Like, I was laughing a lot the whole way through. I also loved the distinct shift in atmosphere between the cold, blue-hued horror scenes and the bright, saturated Hallmark-style moments. Like, the cinematography was excellent, and Zoe's self-awareness of the tonal shift made it even better, in my opinion. I do have a couple of questions, though. Like, number one, what's up with the little man in the fireplace, the alien? Like, did they kill everyone, or was that just a gag? And also, what's the deal with little Nana in the freezer? Like, was Zoe just transported into another world, kind of like the first film? Or was this entire scenario all thought up in her head? I'm probably gonna rewatch the film like 100 more times and piece together my own little theory, but for now, I'm just gonna keep thinking about this. I also wonder if the entire film was even real, or if this happened in Zoe's head while she was in the hospital. I mean, I've stated plenty of times on this channel how much I hate coma theories in film and television and gaming, because it just feels like a super lazy explanation for why things happen in stories, but I kind of doubt Casper would pull that on us. I also kind of enjoy the film's core lesson, which is basically how we perceive the world. As Bert said in the film, we're all going to die one day by our own Yule log. So do we live in fear, or do we try to enjoy life while we can? Zoe spends a majority of the film carrying around an axe, thinking that the log is gonna get her, paralyzed by fear, but finally lets it go during Christmas Eve dinner. And even though the log returns, the point is pretty clear. Living in constant fear isn't really living. It's kind of miserable. I know it's a cliche meaning, but it's true, and it's a meaning that actually sticks with me. Overall, I don't really have a lot to complain about with Yule Log 2. Branching Out proves that low-budget live-action creations on Adult Swim are alive and well. This franchise, I think I could call it a franchise now, there's 2 films. This series taps into the network's roots of producing weird, obscure, absurd content, and shows that there is definitely still a market for it. Personally, I would give Yule Log 2 Branching Out an easy 1,000 out of 10. It's the perfect Christmas movie to... Oh my god, what happened? Oh, whoa, okay, easy there, boy. It's the perfect Christmas movie to watch with your kids and your easily disturbed grandfather. Whatever that means. Anyways, Yule Log 2 Branchin' Out is available on Max and Adult Swim's website, and I'm positive the network will be replaying it all month. So I don't have anything in this mug here. You know what? Cheers to Yule Log 2 Branching Out, and let's hope we get a 3rd film in the franchise, baby. If I had to make an educated guess, I would say we will probably see a Yule Log 3 in December of 2026. I think that's pretty reasonable. And that, my friends, was my overall thoughts and opinions and views on the brand new Adult Swim Yule Log 2 Branchin' Out. Please check out the movie, support the film, share it with your friends, your family, and again, your easily disturbed grandfather. He's going to love it. And I mean, check out the first film as well, because it's spectacular. And what else could I say? Thank you, Casper Kelly, and everyone who worked on this project, because it's an incredibly entertaining film, and I'm very much looking forward to any future installments in the Adult Swim Yuleverse. Guys, if you made it this far into the video, congratulations, you get a cookie. But no, for real, let me know in the comments below what you thought of Yule Log 2 Branching Out. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. And before I go, I want to give you guys a little early Christmas gift. The Modern Warfare 3 Iceberg is coming very soon, like maybe this weekend if I'm lucky. And there is also an Adult Swim Christmas Iceberg premiering sometime after. So please, stay tuned. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're brand new around here, click the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a brand new video, follow me on all of my social links, and join my Discord server. The links are in the bio below. Have a Yule-tastic day, everyone. But remember to never leave your house without your axe.